Hi, my name is Dean Wilson. I teach art at Weberville Community Schools. I also do photography with my students. Now, of course, today with all the digital technology, almost anyone can take a picture. They figure everything out for you. And if you mess it up, you can use Photoshop to repair it. But many of my students want to take pictures the old-fashioned way, with the camera and film. That can be kind of expensive and complicated. But there is a way that you can do it without having a lot of expensive equipment, a lot of expensive supplies. And that is by making the coffee camera. The coffee camera is basically a camera obscura, which was first thought of in China in the 3rd century BC. The astronomer Johannes Kepler built a camera obscura in a darkened tent. Eventually, in the 18th century, both Louis Daguerre, who invented the daguerreotype, and William Fox Talbot, who invented the first photographic paper, discovered that the camera obscura, or pinhole camera as it came to be known, could be used to take photographs. What you're going to need to make your coffee camera is a 5-pound coffee can which has been washed out, its lid, a power drill with a 1/4-inch drill bit, a can of flat black spray paint, a roll of duct tape, some copper foil, a file, a black marker, some needles, and a measuring tape. And you're going to need a darkroom. Now, a darkroom can be any room that you can find that you can make dark. I use my old storage room, and I make it dark by putting a black towel at the bottom of the door. Begin the camera by making a black mark on one of the ribs of the coffee can. Take your drill and drill a 1/4-inch hole right through the side of the coffee can. Next, you're going to want to file down the rough edges of the hole. You don't want your students getting their hands scratched on the sides. Next, you're going to make the pinhole from a piece of copper foiling. You can use tin foil if you want to, but copper foil is a little bit stronger. Cut out a piece about 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. Once you have that, you're going to use duct tape to attach it to the camera. Place it over the hole and put duct tape on all 4 sides. Make sure you press down the duct tape very firmly onto the can. Rubbing it down firmly will ensure that no light will leak in around the edges of the copper foil or the ribs of the can. Next, you're going to paint your coffee camera with a can of flat black spray paint. Paint the lid very, very well. Paint the sides of the can and the inside of the can. It's very important to paint the inside as well. This is going to reduce reflections, which can ruin your photograph. Now you're going to need a needle. The smallest is the best. Hold your coffee camera firmly. Look for the center of the hole. You can find it by pressing down on the foil. It'll leave an indentation. Then take your needle and pierce the copper foil, creating a pinhole. That's where light's going to go through to make your photograph. Next, you're going to make a shutter. Shutter is made from just a piece of black cardboard and some duct tape. You want it to overhang on both ends a little bit. Tape it just above your pinhole. Creates kind of a hinge. I use it at the bottom as well, which allows me to close the shutter and cover the pinhole when I'm not ready to take a photograph. It also ends your exposure. And that's it. Now you're ready to load your coffee camera. Let's go in the darkroom. Okay, so we're ready to load the coffee camera. We're in the darkroom with a safe light on. It's nice to have a safe light instead of working in total darkness. You can buy a pre-made safe light, or you can go out and just get a red light bulb and a clamp-on fixture. I've already removed a piece of photo paper from my box of photo paper here. I'm going to have to trim it down though because it's a little bit too big. As you can see, the photo paper is glossy. The glossy side is the side that's sensitive to light. So when we load the coffee camera, we want to make sure that the glossy side is towards the shutter. So I just have to cut this down a little bit to about 6 inches. I'm going to take the top off the camera and load the paper in. Fits in there nice and snugly. Here's the shutter, here's the paper, facing the shutter. Okay, now we go ahead and put the lid on, and we're ready to take a picture. Okay, nice cold day out here. I think I found the perfect subject for my coffee camera picture, which is this great old oak tree here. And the best part is, it's even got a tripod right in front of it. When you take your picture with your coffee camera, it has to sit perfectly still. So what you need to do is to find something to set it on. You can set it on the ground or a park bench or anything you want. You could even build a little tripod plate for it. But today I'm just going to use this sign. All we have to do to take our coffee camera picture is point the shutter towards the object, lift up the little cardboard shutter flap, and wait. How long? A day like this, an exposure probably take about 2 minutes. So I'm gonna go get some coffee. Oh yeah, that was good. Okay, it's been about 2 minutes now. I'm gonna go ahead and flip my shutter down. We're gonna head back to the dark room and process this bad boy. Okay, man, that was cold. Well, we're ready to process our print now. We're going to back in the safe light again. We're gonna open up the camera, take out the photo paper. We're going to place that in a developer. Now these chemicals that I'm using can be purchased online. At the end of the show I'll give you a list of resources for them. They're relatively inexpensive, very easy to mix up, just follow the manufacturer's guidelines. Okay, we've got our picture in the developer right now. I put it in face down, helps it develop a little bit faster. You should see an image probably within about 1 minute to 2 minutes. Then you'll know if your exposure was correct. Okay, I'm just keeping it agitated in the tray here. It's been about 2 minutes. And guess what? We have a picture. Now I still have to put this through a couple of more chemicals, but I think you can see our image. Now this is a negative image. In other words, this is reverse of what we were photographing. To get a positive image, we're going to have to wash this, dry this, and contact print it to another piece of paper. So I'm going to go ahead and finish the processing now. After you finish your final step, what you need to do is to wash the print thoroughly. Make sure you get all the chemicals off it and run cold running water. That should take about 15 minutes. Then you're going to dry it. I use a squeegee to squeegee the water off. And once you have that done, you're ready to make your contact print. So let's get on to that. Okay, we're back in the darkroom with our negative print, which has been thoroughly washed and squeegee dry. I have already taken a piece of photo paper out of the photo box. It's a full sheet, 8 by 10. I have a contact print frame here, which is used to hold negatives down on the photo paper. You could use anything, and you just use a heavy piece of glass or plexiglass to keep these two pieces of paper together. What we're going to do is we're going to put our photo paper in there, shiny side up. That's the side that's sensitive to light. And we're going to take our negative image and put that face to face. Put that right face to face, and then close our frame. Now I have a photographic enlarger which I'm going to use to expose this. You could simply just turn the lights on for about 5 or 10 seconds. You'll have to play with your exposure times depending on your negative. But I'm just going to use the enlarger here to expose this. I have it set for about 10 seconds. Okay, after you exposed your paper, go ahead and take it out. Set your negative aside. Now we're going to develop this just like we did the other print. We're going to put it in face down for about 2 minutes. We have a picture. Now we still have to finish processing it, but that turned out pretty cool. What's fun about the coffee camera is, of course, the images that you can make with it. But it's a project that gives your students something to do with their hands, and at the same time giving them a whole new view of the world. I hope you had enjoyed. Thanks for watching.